Hey guys, it's Mario here back with another quick video, and in this one you're going to be learning a little bit about that relationship between strength gains and muscle gains, between getting stronger and getting bigger. So one particular issue that I get asked a lot about is how could someone be getting stronger but not getting bigger? So someone is able to progress with their lifts, adding pounds and pounds to the bar, but they're not gaining that size. So what is happening here? And with beginners, this is very obvious. Someone who just starts lifting, maybe they start on a program like starting strength or like strong list 5x5 or some other strength program, they're actually able to add a tremendous amount of weight every single time they step into the gym, but there's no size difference. They're not gaining any size. They're not getting any bigger. Muscles are pretty much looking almost the same over time. So what's really happening here? Well, it's important to understand that there's certain adaptations that are happening to you when you're lifting weights. And one dominant adaptation that happens, let's say for a beginner, is that neuromuscular adaptation. And that's a very important thing to understand, is that when you're going into a gym setting, when you're lifting weights, when you're doing a particular exercise, those neuromuscular adaptations are the dominant factor in the beginning because you don't know how to lift the weights. You don't know how to use all the muscle mass you're already carrying, because as you enter the gym, even as a complete beginner, you're carrying a decent amount of muscle mass with you already that is not being utilized properly. So as you're learning how to squat, as you're learning how to bench press, deadlift, overhead press, do pull-ups, those muscles, all those muscles that are being used, they need coordination. They need certain neural connections to happen, to wire and fire together in order for you to execute those lifts perfectly. And depending on obviously on the complexity of the lift, this might take longer or shorter. An isolation movement is a lot easier to master than, let's say, a squat, which takes a lot more effort to learn and to execute effectively. And while you're getting those neuromuscular adaptations, while your body is learning how to use the current muscle mass you have, there's really no need for it to build that much muscle mass additionally to what you currently have, because you can't really even load the muscle properly, especially as a beginner. And even as an intermediate, this is very obvious. And we know that these gains, they don't happen linearly. You probably noticed that in the gym, as you're, let's say, lifting weights, you could go through periods and periods of almost no gains at all, and then all of a sudden you're just waking up one day you're heavier, or just you wake up one day, if your goal is fat loss, all of a sudden you're much lighter and you look more shredded. And same thing for strength. You might have a big plateau, you go on a holiday, come back, you're deloaded, then all of a sudden you're much stronger. And a lot of these things, they don't happen linearly. And same thing here when it comes to those neuromuscular and those hypertrophic adaptations, is that they will happen over time. And it's really important to understand that as you're progressing over time, that eventually you will hit a point where those neuromuscular adaptations will be utilizing the muscle mass that you currently have, and your body will be forced to make the hypertrophic adaptation the dominant one. And that's where you notice a massive increase in size, like a big increase in size. And these processes are, let's say, happening like this, and then the hypertrophic response comes here, then the neuromuscular is not dominant, hypertrophic is dominant, then the neuromuscular comes up, hypertrophic goes down, and it's really happening at the same time. Both are happening at the same time, but over the course of a career, obviously there's diminishing returns and you're gaining less of either one. And it's really important to understand that there is never going to be a linear growth that you can predict it to happen. So it's important to work on both, and that's why we really emphasize strength gains. That's why I'm talking so much about progressive overload, specifically mechanical progressive tension overload, where you're really adding weight to the bar, where you're getting stronger. Because if you look at an individual, if you look at someone who is not really much impressive when in terms of their physique and how they look, it's typically individuals who lifting the same amount of weight, or they're not progressing that much in terms of strength. And often I get approached by potential clients asking me, well, I've been lifting since like, I don't know, 10 years, and I haven't improved that much. And the only, when I look at their stats, when I look at the data, it's usually because they've been stagnating on their lifts. So they haven't been getting stronger. So that's one reason why they've been not progressing, is they haven't been getting stronger. So they never needed to build new muscle, right? If you're not getting stronger, the hypertrophic response is simply an adaptation to impose demands of increased workload and increased force production. If you're not putting those demands on the body, nothing is going to happen. But on the other hand, there's other factors that could be limiting the hypertrophic response, is specifically not giving your body enough calories. So one thing that could be limiting your strength is not giving your body enough calories to build new muscle, which you can then use to get stronger. So there's both ways how you can be limiting yourself. You can be limiting yourself in terms of strength, where you're not utilizing your current muscle mass, but you can also be limiting yourself where you're not building new muscle mass that you could be using. So it's a really complex relationship, but it's important to understand that as long as you have that progressive tension overload, which simply means getting stronger over time, that you will be getting better and looking better, and over time, that is the only important thing. If you equate all the other things and all the other variables in terms of training, getting a pump, muscle damage, all these other little things, I mean, they are not nearly as important. They don't cause growth by themselves. You need that progressive tension overload. That is the most important thing. That is the overall principle that is the base of every single workout plan out there that works, and definitely keep that in mind. And this is a quick video here just explaining that relationship between learning how to lift and getting that size as well. And it's important to invest time into learning techniques so you can properly utilize and overload your musculature so you can build new muscle. And that's really, really important, especially for you guys just starting out who are learning how to lift. You want to get through that phase as soon as possible in the most efficient, the most safe way possible. So you want to learn the technique. As I mentioned in many videos before this one, you want to be watching other people lift. You want to be observing, learning, absorbing as much as you can to get there much, much faster. So hope you guys enjoyed. Real quick video here. Let me know in the comments if you find this helpful. And as always, if you have any questions, as always, hit me up in the comments, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to support this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.